in LA this week.
My mother is 92 years old, and she doesn't have COVID, and to help take care of her, I think I have to have the shot.
3 billion meals is not a statistic, it's a story. Behind every single one of those is a person.
Today is the SRLA Action 30K, and the students are here to run a 30K, which is an 18-mile run, 18.6 actually.
Hello everyone, I'm Natalia Bilbao, and here's what's happening in LA this week. It's been a year since the World Health Organization declared the COVID-19 outbreak a pandemic. The city of Los Angeles responded simultaneously with a stay-at-home order and a rallying of essential resources to help support one another across the Southland. 1 year later, the meals and support keep coming.
March of 2020. The whole hospitality industry is shut down. 95% of the workers are laid off, and thousands of our most vulnerable senior citizens are isolated at home, quietly afraid, and wondering how are they going to get their next meal. And so the Serving Our Community program was born. Over 1,000 professional food service workers went back to work in those shut-down industrial kitchens, making high-quality meals delivered by out-of-work taxi and airport shuttle drivers to those 10,000 vulnerable and low-income seniors who could not leave their homes.
3 billion meals is not a statistic, it's a story. Behind every single one of those is a person who felt isolated and lonely, didn't know if they would eat.
Can help save jobs, can help feed seniors, and really breathe hope in the worst days. This has been like rays of sunshine in the darkest days in Los Angeles.
We have provided to more than 10,000 homebound seniors meals since this program started last year. Hicimos este programa y gracias a Dios hoy estamos celebrando esta meta de 3,000 millones de comidas gratis y también hemos podido regresar a trabajar a más de 1,000 trabajadores.
I come back to my work and I keep it with my insurance and I feel very happy.
This is such a critical time and I'd rather choose to work and be helpful to society than rather sit home and do nothing.
Although we are in the middle of a pandemic, we can still make a significant change in people's lives.
Even with the arrival of vaccines for COVID-19, health officials believe there will still be a need for personal protective equipment for the foreseeable future. Council member Kevin DeLeon was on hand to help distribute PPE at Clínica Romero in District 14.
Bueno, este día estamos súper agradecidos, felices de que estamos recibiendo una donación de 50,000 mascarillas para nuestra comunidad de parte de la Asociación de Médicos del Condado de Los Ángeles.
I want to thank LA County Medical Association for stepping up to provide these essential tools that will, without a doubt, save lives. Unlike ever before, the impact of the pandemic this past year has tested communities throughout California, throughout the nation, and throughout the world with the spread of COVID-19. No one knows this better than me and the residents, which I serve here in City Council District number 14.
Pues yo pienso que está bien para todos, diría yo, porque es como un alivio, pienso yo, una seguridad, les quitaría a uno el miedo también a salir.
This donation is incredibly important to really serving our communities when they need it the most. Via an organization called GetUsPPE.org, we were able to obtain over 700,000 three-ply masks and 21,000 digital thermometers.
And even with mass vaccination, I think that masks are going to be part of our lives for at least the next year or two. And so it's really important when people come for vaccinations that they also get masks and things like that can also help them going forward, them and their family members.
Es una contribución increíblemente necesaria para poder ayudar a nuestra comunidad que estén protegidos, para evitar más muertes y que se enfermen del COVID-19.
Clinica Romero was just one of the wellness events Councilmember De Leon attended. We'll have his other recent event later in the program. With the third COVID-19 vaccine here, it would seem like we are finally gaining ground on this pandemic. But for people using public transportation, the logistical challenges of getting to a vaccine hub are daunting. That's why the folks at Council District 9 are bringing the vaccine to South Park.
Here in Council District 9, we have folks who are getting their second dose of the Pfizer vaccine. So the people you see out here today in this line, they are senior citizens who are 65 plus or healthcare workers who received their vaccine dose, their first one, about 21 days ago. Additionally, we have individuals who are in the expanded industries that the county is allowing, including healthcare workers, food and agriculture workers, people who, once again, are 65 and plus, are able to come out today, get an appointment to get their vaccine.
We're going through something that we have never gone through, and this is the best thing we could do. We could have for ourselves, for our lives. We have to get it. Otherwise, you never know what else could happen. I didn't feel a thing. This is the first one, like I said. This is the first one. Did not feel a thing, but we do have to stay here for a couple of minutes, maybe 10, 15 minutes, just in case anybody has any reactions. So far, I haven't had any reactions at all, so it seems like it's all going pretty good.
It's my second shot, and I decided to come do it because my mother is 92 years old, and she doesn't have COVID, and to help take care of her, I think I have to have the shot.
Pues espero que la gente haga caso, se vacune y la gente también pueda disfrutar de llegar otra vez a la normalidad como era antes. Quizás andar sin máscara porque esto es un poquito fastidioso.
No, yo nomás lo que digo es que yo la recomiendo. Yo la recomiendo para beneficio de todos. De todos aquí, de todos colores.
This, is something that we want to continue to expand in order to make it more accessible for everyone.
Okay, let me know if you've heard this one. The time to look for a job is when you have one. Good advice, right? Well, we can also apply that logic to emergency preparedness. Cynthia Saffer from the West Side Neighborhood Council zoomed by Channel 35 to remind us that during an emergency, it is too late to create a plan.
Just because we're in the midst of a pandemic doesn't mean we're not going to have an earthquake. If the seismologist's predictions are true, the earthquake that we can expect, the quote-unquote big one, is not just going to damage commercial buildings. It's going to damage our infrastructure. It could very well damage our homes. When the 1994 earthquake happened, the Northridge earthquake, my house caught on fire from the water heater. The fact is that your house isn't necessarily going to be okay if there's a big earthquake. We have some fantastic resources that can teach people so many different aspects of preparedness and get you started learning some life-saving skills that may help you or somebody else in the case of an emergency. One thing that really woke me up to the potential perils of a big earthquake in Los Angeles is we get all of our water through a system that brings water from other places, the aqueduct. What happens if that's damaged in the earthquake? Where is our water going to come from? And if then the roads, like they were in 94, the freeways were damaged, trucking water in is not exactly going to be easy. We live in a potentially scary place. Getting people in the mindset of preparing for a possible major earthquake or other disaster, but also to get them trained in some potentially life-saving techniques that they might be able to then use for their families, for their neighbors in the community.
Earlier in the program, we were happy to show you Councilmember Kevin DeLeon's work getting PPE to his community. Well, he's not done yet. DeLeon was on hand for a ribbon cutting to celebrate improvements to CD14's Hollenbeck Recreation Center. Take a look.
It is great to be here on this very beautiful day to celebrate some incredible improvements to this very, very beautiful park that is Hollenbeck Community Park.
We know that in our neighborhoods, obesity, type 2 diabetes, food deserts are major concerns.
Because our community is locked up in their homes because of COVID, we need to come out to the park and exercise our bodies.
And particularly for our senior community, he needs to get outside, gets to exercise, and get some health and wellness from this beautiful sun.
It's so beautiful, and every time I'm here, I see something new. So new ducks and new beauty, and the exercise equipment overlooking such a beautiful lake. It can't be more special.
Although this park has already been established for many decades, it's how we improve these parks that improve the human condition for all individuals.
Por favor, vengan al parque, es el parque de la familia, el parque de la comunidad, a disfrutar del sol, de la sombra, de los árboles, del lago y de los ejercicios, porque sabemos que necesitamos rebajar peso poquito, ¿verdad?
The new LA waterfront is on track for summer completion. Lyft and One Generation give free rides to vaccination sites, and the West Valley Animal Shelter reopens. All this up next on City Beat.
The Port of Los Angeles updated Angelenos this week on the continuing development of the LA waterfront. The San Pedro Town Square and Promenade project broke ground in January of 2020, shortly before the pandemic. LA Harbor Commissioner Anthony Perozzi recently announced that despite challenges resulting from the pandemic, the project is currently on track to be completed by the end of July 2021. The Port of Los Angeles is funding the $36 million project, which will create new central gathering space as well as a promenade connecting attractions and points of interest along the harbor's main channel. The team at One Generation is working to make it easier for seniors to get a ride to their vaccination appointments in the West San Fernando Valley. Councilmember Bob Blumenfield helped to get the word out that One Generation has partnered with the ride-share company Lyft to transport seniors to and from vaccine appointments. This service is free of charge for seniors 65 and older. To take advantage, schedule your vaccine appointment, have the pickup and destination addresses ready, then call 818-708-6625. The LA Animal Services West Valley Animal Shelter is set to reopen March 15th. Both the West Valley Shelter and the North Central Shelter were temporarily closed last April due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Recently, Councilmember John Lee announced the official return of the city-operated shelter. He noted that with the facility shut down, the entire San Fernando Valley only had one city-operated animal shelter in service. The West Valley Animal Services Center is located at 20655 Plummer Street in Chatsworth. To read Councilmember Lee's full statement on the reopening, visit cd12.org.
So, stay-at-home orders are relaxing. Spring has almost sprung. More than ever, Angelenos need to get out of the house. Well, one group, Students Run LA, is making great use of these new freedoms. You might even say they're going the distance. You'll see what I mean. Check this out.
Students Run LA is an independent nonprofit, but we are associated with over 180 schools in LA, and each school group has an SRLA team that's led by usually a teacher or an administrator who volunteers their time to take students from their classrooms and from other parts of the school to train for a marathon. Today is the SRLA Action 30K, and the students are here to run a 30K, which is an 18-mile run, 18.6 actually. They're here to run, to meet up, and to have some fun.
Ready, set, go!
I got into running in like 7th grade because I heard about it and my brother did it for this team too, and I was like, I should give it a try.
This is about my 9th year in the SRLA program. I love seeing my daughter run. Her completing the races, the long runs is inspiring. It actually inspired my husband because he runs with her this season. It actually inspired me to run with them as well.
Yo es primera vez que voy a correr 18 millas, lo más que he corrido 16 millas, y es la primera vez que estoy involucrada corriendo con ellos.
This is possible during the pandemic because we have a few safety protocols in place, taking temperatures, doing screenings. All of our students must wear masks and they must keep distance. Usually our events would have 2,000, 3,000 people. Instead, we're meeting in small groups all around the city.
Salgan con sus niños a caminar, aunque sea un poquito, aunque sea a la vuelta de donde viven, aunque sea unos 30 minutos, estando con sus niños al lado, caminando, corriendo, estando afuera con ellos, les ayuda bastante, los motiva.
Late winter, early spring is pretty much the only time of year you can count on any consistent rainfall in Southern California. Capturing as much rainfall as possible has become very important. So the Department of Sanitation is enlisting the help of residents to help make every drop count.
I lead government relations and public affairs for Reyes Coca-Cola, and we're one of the proud sponsors of this rain barrel program. In fact, we donate these 55-gallon drums that we use for our syrup in our processing manufacturing facility in LA. And what we do is we donate it to the city, and we work with the city to repurpose them into rain barrels to give to LA residents. The purpose of these barrels is so that we can help LA residents collect the rainwater that runs off of their roofs so that they can use it for potable purposes and it doesn't go to waste.
It's really cool that the city has this incentive, and hopefully we're doing enough outreach so that people can learn about being able to collect water.
Just like when rain falls, it goes into the barrels through these colanders, and there's a spigot on the bottom where people can use to get the water out of the barrel, so they hold about 55 gallons of water.
De medio ambiente, ¿verdad? Y eso es una manera para contribuir. Y pues también quiero comenzar a mi jardín de esta temporada y pues para no gastar agua. Yo vivo con mis papás, ¿verdad? Y aunque les ayudo, es bueno para ahorrar un poco de dinero también.
I'm really excited. I'm so excited to be able to offset the use of drinking water just, by using this bucket, this barrel. It's a really nice thing you guys are doing, and I'm really excited. LA sounds great.
For those of you who are curious about local government or trying to decide if public service is for you, serving on a neighborhood council is the perfect place to start. We spoke to Anne-Marie Holman about the challenges and changes ahead for the 2021 Los Angeles Neighborhood Council elections.
LA has 99 neighborhood councils. Together, that system forms the grassroots level of the Los Angeles municipal government. So neighborhood council members are public officials. They serve their terms as volunteers, and they directly connect their communities to City Hall. This season for the 2021 election cycle, every neighborhood council is holding a vote-by-mail election for the very first time. This has never yet happened, and it's happening due to the pandemic because of social distancing measures that do still need to be in place. So you would apply for it online at the city clerk's website, or you would fill out a paper application. You would provide any eligibility documents that you need to prove that you're a stakeholder of this council, and then you submit those, and then you receive your vote-by-mail ballot. Unlike past years, Election Day is simply the ballot deadline to turn it in. So that would be the deadline where you would postmark your ballot if you're mailing it back in. If you're using one of the drop boxes, which will be available from the Friday before the election day to the Tuesday that is that election day, those drop boxes will be open until 8 p.m. on election day, and so you'll need to put your ballot in that box by that time. Getting involved in your neighborhood council gives you a direct line to City Hall. As a voter, as somebody who attends their meetings, you'll be the first to know about city programs and services that are available in your area, and you'll actually be able to have input on how these services unfold in your local community. Our main elections page, where you can look up when to vote, how to vote, see who's running, is empowerla.org/elections.
With businesses and services slowly opening back up in Los Angeles, most of us are happy to go back to work. And for some residents, this new lifting of restrictions could mean the end of a job hunt that spans well before the pandemic. But for those who are still looking, WorkSource may have just what you're looking for.
Dependability is one of the main keys to keeping a job.
The Job Search Assistance meeting that the Los Angeles Public Library provides every month is part of a partnership that we have with the PACE Downtown Pico Union WorkSource Center. This Job Search Assistance program serves as an orientation to WorkSource services, which is the first step that people need to go through if they want to work with WorkSource to get assistance as they look for a job or looking for some sort of job training. The program is free to attend. It doesn't require a library card. All you need to do is sign up online through the library's online calendar. And during this program, what you'll learn are about the different resources that the WorkSource Center has to offer. They can learn about the different trainings that they offer, the different kinds of support for interview skills, resume development. They also sometimes have some sort of funding available to help if people need assistance with transportation costs or even clothing for different kinds of job interviews. WorkSource is still available to help people with their job assistance. The library can help people learn more about the WorkSource services, and then people can work with the WorkSource Center directly at their downtown Pico Union location. There are a lot of resources out there for them to get assistance with their job search. This is a great opportunity for people to learn about a lot of the different resources that are still available, even though we're still in a pandemic. It's always the fourth Thursday of the month at 10:30 in the morning. To get more information about the upcoming events in this particular job search assistance presentation, you can go to lapl.org.
In our feature story this week, allow us to introduce Carlos Samaniego. As a founder of Mariachi Arcoiris de Los Angeles, the first LGBTQ mariachi band, Samaniego has created a space for music lovers of all kinds. Take a look.
Mariachi Arcoiris de Los Angeles is the world's first LGBTQ plus mariachi. Ever since I came out of the closet, you can say, or came out to myself back around 1999, in the mariachi world at the time was rather taboo. And so I got somewhat of backlash from that, right? I got harassed. I got bullied because of the fact that I was openly gay. So at the beginning of 2014 was when I decided to create Mariachi Arcoiris de Los Angeles. And it was meant to be, or it is meant to be, a safe space for mariachi musicians who identify within the LGBTQ plus community. We are pioneers in our community.
I'll say it clear. I'll state my case, of which I'm certain.
There have been many experiences where we have been taken aback by the response of the audience, and it's been amazing.
Along the byway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way.
Because we're from Los Angeles, anytime that we get to do anything for our community, our city, it means a great deal. El Mariachi Arcoíris de Los Ángeles, para mí, significa un grupo en donde los músicos pueden ser auténticos de cómo son ellos. Es decir, que no hay temor en representar quiénes son, cómo se identifican dentro del mismo mariachi, igual que con el público en donde se vayan a presentar.
Me nace del corazón decirle que usted es mi vida, que no sé vivir sin usted.
We're the first mariachi in the world to represent the LGBTQ plus community, but we're much more than that. You know, anyone who loves to do what they do should be able to do it, whether you are a woman, whether you are gay, whether you are trans, whether you are non-binary. It doesn't matter. You should be able to do what you love to do, regardless of what that job is historically known for. We want to show the world that everyone can be their authentic selves and still be able to carry out whatever job you do.
Visit the recently reopened Butterfly Pavilion, get into costume design with CalArts, CAP, and LAPL, or explore the fine art of folding in the virtual family art workshop. All this up next in Things to Do.
Join the Natural History Museum for the reopening of their wildly popular Butterfly Pavilion. This springtime exhibition features hundreds of butterflies, colorful native plants, and plenty of natural light to help you see these creatures shimmer. A limited number of guests will be allowed inside the pavilion during each reservation time slot to allow for physical distancing and ensure a safe environment for all. This outdoor garden exhibit reopens on March 18th, so don't wait to get tickets. For more information about the Butterfly Pavilion at the Natural History Museum, visit nhm.org. Interested in costume design? Then this is the activity for you. The LA Public Library has partnered with CalArts to bring LA teens a free 8-week after-school program on costume design. Learn about fashion illustration, costume fabrication, working with sustainable materials, fabric identification, costume design, and character design. Every student will receive a package of design materials in the mail, so sign up soon to be prepared for the March 16th start date. For information on how to participate, visit lapl.org. Check out Angels Gate Cultural Center's monthly virtual family art workshops. On March 20th, the virtual workshop will feature the fascinating art and various techniques of folding paper. Work on easy basic folding projects as well as more challenging ones too. There might also be a chance to share your own favorite folding technique or origami figure. It's family fun for kids ranging from 1 to 101. The Family Art Workshop at Angels Gate Cultural Center kicks off Saturday, March 20th at 1 p.m. For more information, visit them at angelsgateart.org and check out their social media sites. And that's a look at some virtual things to do.
That's it for this edition. I'm Natalia Bilbao, and from all of us here at LA This Week, thank you so much for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org, and we're also on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. See you next time for more LA This Week.